Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwan, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today, we continue talking about the planets of Warhammer 40K as we start the Armageddon series. This is probably going to be a two-part series, but this is specifically going over the geography of the planet and what the planet is all about. So more so geography, though. So if you guys have any suggestions for other planets that you guys would like us to create a video for, please comment down below. And I hope this helps you when you're creating your campaigns for Armageddon. With that said, let's get into 40 facts about Armageddon. Armageddon is an Imperial hive world located 10,000 light-years to the galactic northeast of Terra, in the Segmentum Solar, and was the site of several of the greatest conflicts ever fought by the Imperium of Man, including the Second and Third War of Armageddon against the massive Orc Waaagh of Warlord Godskull Thraka. Thousands of standard years of industrial output has reduced the surface of Armageddon to a barren wasteland and polluted ocean. Humans can only survive within the artificial environments of the world's hive cities, the massive arcology-like structures that stand several kilometers tall. The world of Armageddon is the fourth in its star systems of 10 planets, and is the industrial hub of both the Armageddon subsector and the greater region of the surrounding Armageddon sector. Many worlds within a several light-year radius of Armageddon rely on it for its large industrial output. There are three main landmasses on Armageddon. Most human life is located on the main continent, which is split into two parts, Armageddon Prime and Armageddon Segundus, separated by a thick band of jungle, known simply as the Equatorial Jungle. They each had their role in the War of Armageddon, but the majority of the fighting took place on the main continent. Most of the information presented here on Armageddon's geography will be limited to that provided by the area given over to fighting during the Third War of Armageddon. The bulk of the subcontinents of Armageddon Prime and Segundus are covered in ash wastes, the after effect of many millennia of industrial pollution. Several hive cities house the planet's human populations and the industry of Armageddon. These include Tempestora, Deathmire, and Vulcanus on Armageddon Prime, and Infernus, Hades, Archon, Helm's Reach, and Tartarus on Armageddon Segundus. To the north of Armageddon Prime and Segundus are the Fire Wastes, which are home to the mining and resource-gathering industries that support the Hive City's factories. This is an extremely arid region, which has been stripped mined far beyond the point that it can maintain any living ecosystem. To the south of the main continent lies the ice-covered Deadlands. The polluted ice here is melted and heavily purified to provide a source of drinking water to the inhabitants of Armageddon hive cities. Armageddon Prime is the western half of the main Armageddon continent, joined to Armageddon Segundus through the Equatorial Jungle. It has three large hive cities, including Hive Tempestora, Hive Deathmire, and Hive Vulcanus, with the possibility of a fourth, long-destroyed hive city in the plains of Anthrand, which may possibly have been Hive Anthrand or Hive Blackfire. The main feature of Hive Tempestora is the docks and pipelines from the Fire Wastes. There is also an Orc submersible graveyard, from which the Orcs launched their attack on Tempestora, and subsequently overran it. Also to the north is some ash wastelands created from the waste from Tempestora East Factory Complex, the Morpheus Factory Complex, the Catrin Water Purification Plant, or the Morpheus River. There is one Orc drop site located to the southeast. Finally, the Morphean line of Imperial defenses faces inward in order to contain the Orcs within the hive, and eventually launch an Imperial attack on Tempestora with the intention of taking it back. Hive Deathmire is the northern central area of the region, and the most prominent feature of the Equatorial Jungle in the southwest. The Hecate Mountains in the north, and the Death Ridge in the south, where the Orcs can link with the Pharaoh Orcs from the Equatorial Jungle and launch assault on the actual hive. There are two Orc rock drop sites far to the west, the Phlegenthin Bridge also to the west, and the River Insane Tunnel in the center of the region, as well as a motorway running throughout. In the Hecate Mountains is the Eyes of the Emperor Observatory, watching over a vast area of Armageddon Prime, for Orc troop movement, and which provides vital intelligence to Imperial forces. It was critical in the destruction of the Blackfire tribe by observing Orc mobilization in the plains of Anthran. Mire Anchorage is another one of the only deep water areas available for the gigantic Gigatakers to arrive with the loss of the Diablo's Cove. Although it is badly infected by Orcs, it is defended by a Stormlord Space Marine chapter and the Armageddon Orc Hunters. Finally, the vast Tempestor Victorum line guards a large area from the Haycape Mountains to the Equatorial Jungles to protect the south and west flanks of Hive Deathmire. It takes its name from the two groups of Titans stationed there, Legal Tempestor and Legal Victorum, which have both pounded the Orcs with unrelenting fire from the many bunkers and siege positions. The Hive Volcanus region is on the far western edge of Armageddon Prime. Its two most obvious features are the gigantic mountain ranges to the south and the many islands to the west. The Volcanus Mountains and Volcanus Ridge cover most of the southern half of the area, and atop larger mountains is the Volcanus Mountain Space Defense Fortress, which was overrun by the Orcs from the rock drop site to the east. The easiest pass through the mountains is the Manahind Gap, named after the Iron Skull's Titan Legion, Princip Curtin Manaheim, a hero of the Second War of Armageddon. Hive Volcanus itself occupies the central area of Armageddon Prime, with its motorways leading to the Volcanon Bridge. In the west, on a number of islands, is the Volcanus Offshore Defense, which patrols the rivers and waterways leading up to Volcanus Hive. Also, the Nemesis Island Penal Facility is located nearby, holding the worst criminals from the hives of Armageddon Prime. Armageddon Segundus is the eastern half of the main Armageddon continent, joined to Armageddon Prime by the Equatorial Jungle. It has 5 large hives, including Hive Helmsreach, Hive Infernus, Hive Hades, and Hive Archeon and Hive Tartarus, although Hades' hive was destroyed in an orbital bombardment near the beginning of the Third War of Armageddon. Hive Hellsreach is dominated by the hive itself, as well as Balboa Mountains to the east, overlooking Grendel's Lock, a huge dock which has been mostly overrun by the Orcs. Further to the southeast is the Valdez Alpha offshore oil platform, providing vital resources to the factories of Armageddon. To the south is the Valhaskin arteries, which pump water from the Deadlands into the southern hives. The Ironside shipyard are also on the south coast, where ships are built and repaired, but they will quickly be overrun by the Orcs. There is one Orc rock drop site, as well as Hell's Highway and the Batraxian Barrier, with a gigantic weapon battery called Lethal Lucy. Also part of Helmlock Cordon is located to the northeast, containing many Imperial forces after the fall of Hive Archon. Also to the northwest is the Styges Bridge, crossing the river Styges. The Hive Infernus region is dominated by 2 mountain ranges, the Palladus Mountains and the Diablo Mountains, with Orc Mountain located at the peak of Diablo Mountain. Hive Infernus is located at the center of the region and is linked with the Northern Motorway and Styges Bridge to the Hive Helmsreach area. The Diablo's Forge complex, located to the east of the Hive, saw the first action with the Orcs and was the site of a battle between the Orcs and the Titan Legion Crucius. 6 Titans and 8 Orc Gargants were destroyed, but in the process, the battle practically destroyed the entire Forge complex. Diablo's Cove had become the center of the Orc fighting to prevent resources from reaching the Hive, and as such, many Gigatakers have been destroyed in the process. The Equatorial Jungle to the east is met by a large area of ash wastes from the nearby factories, and is very close to the Crinan Canal, which allows ships to move between the boiling sea and the Tempest Ocean, without having to sail all the way around the west end of the main Armageddon landmass. To the south is the Infernus South Forge complex, which produces many chimeras and a vast amount of ordnances for the defenders of Hive Infernus. The Stygenin bulwark is located to the east of the Infernus South Forge complex, and is there to protect it from the Orcs hiding in the Palladus Mountains, with huge areas of fortification and bombardment points spreading along its length. Hades' hive is a blasted area, the entire hive city itself destroyed early on in the Third War of Armageddon by an orbital bombardment of asteroids in vengeance for the hive's victory over the orcs in the Second War of Armageddon, where Hades' hive was the linchpin in defeating the orcs by holding up so many that their offensive stalled. To the southwest is the Diablo Mountains and the Orc Mountains. To the east is the Human-Dice Bridge that links to the main motorway and passes the Avernus Forge complex, which produces vast amounts of vehicles and ordnance for the war efforts. It was partially destroyed when shards broke off from the Orc asteroids when they bombarded the hive city. The Orc Rock drop site is located close to the motorway in the south, and the majority of the area is covered in ash waste from the nearby industry. In the northwest, the Yarick's Hope Harbor is a center for Imperial resistance, but was largely destroyed. However, small attack craft can be launched from there to defend the pipelines across the boiling sea. Hive Archon is far to the east of Armageddon Segundus, but is covered in vast areas of ash wastes from the Archon East and West factories and the Human-Dice Minotaurum factory complex, with motorways leading to Hades' Hive and Hive Tartarus. There are 2 Orc Rock drop sites, with the Archon Hive in between both. To the south, the Hemlock River Tunnel runs under the Hemlock River, and to the north was the Von Straub Memorial Arc, recently changed to the image of Hermann von Straub throughout the whole arc. To the southwest is the Hemlock Cordon, which escapees from Hive Archon have set up fortifications. The hive has fallen to the orcs, but only through the treachery of Hermann von Straub when he handed control over to them. Hive Tartarus is in the southeast of Armageddon Segundus, and the hive itself is at the center, surrounded and besieged constantly with little hope of survival. The Tartarus West Factory, Hemlock Factory Complex, and Skeltius Factory Complex contribute to the ash wastes to the east, and 1 Orc Rock overlooks the entire area of the northern east. There is 1 motorway north to Hive Archon and 1 pipeline south to the Deadlands to bring fresh water to the hive city. The Hemlock Cordon is also partially in this area, where survivors from Hive Archon have gathered. Clane's Stronghold was formed when units of defenders marched to Hive Infernus, but were quickly stopped by an Orc force and forced to build defenses in that area, which are now constantly pounded by Orc artillery. And those were 40 facts about Armageddon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and again, I hope you use this in your campaigns that you create while playing Armageddon. There's going to be a part 2 where we go over the Equatorial Jungle and what is going on in the north and south of the planet. So please subscribe to the channel to get that. If you guys have any other planets that you guys would like us to create a video for, please comment down below. Don't forget to put suggestion followed by whatever your request may be. And again, guys, thank you so much for liking, commenting, and sharing. If you want to support us a little bit more and help us create more videos, jump on over to Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos. If you can't, we totally understand. Just simply by liking, commenting, and sharing, it helps out the channel. With that said, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.